It's St. Patrick's Day in Washington, sort of. The Houses of Congress rise today for a midterm recess, so if St. Patrick's Day was only marked next Monday, there'd be very few people around to mark it. Therefore, today is the day where all the ceremonial elements of a St. Patrick's Day programme will take place. Micheal Martin is in the White House twice today. First for that bilateral meeting with Donald Trump, then later where he will be presenting a bowl of shamrock to the US President. In between those, he's the guest at a lunch thrown on Capitol Hill by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, and he'll begin his day here at the home of the Vice President, here at the Naval Observatory. J.D. Vance holding what is now a traditional breakfast to mark St. Patrick's Day. That was initiated by Joe Biden himself back in 2009. It's a very busy programme, but the centrepiece is obviously that bilateral meeting in the Oval Office, where there are many variables, not alone the fact that Donald Trump is surrounded by so many other officials. Will Elon Musk be there, a supporter of Enoch Burke? Will J.D. Vance be there, a vocal presence, who's been critical of Ireland's roles around safe access zones, around abortion venues, and criticism about how that might impact on freedom of speech? Will Howard Lutnick be there? He's the Commerce Secretary who's been very critical about Ireland's stance on corporate tax. He believes that Ireland is effectively draining revenue that ought to be due to the United States. And to illustrate how much planning can be rendered redundant by fast-moving events, an illustration yesterday of two big developments in 24 hours. Firstly, America helping to broker a prospective ceasefire in Ukraine, which is now one element that might not be on the agenda given that Europe is no longer concerned around America's fraying support for Ukraine. But also the tariff war overnight. Yesterday, that tit-for-tat trade with Canada over tariffs on electricity and steel, and overnight America announcing tariffs on European steel exports, the EU in turn announcing tariffs on American whiskey exports. That is something Micheal Martin doesn't necessarily have the authority to speak on. That's an EU power, not an Irish one. But as an EU representative in the Oval Office, he might be expected to raise it. And those are things for which he would have had relatively little time to prepare in this very